Hi there, my name is Madeline Thornton. I'm going to be the RD you're going to talk to today. Is Jordan okay to go by?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Well, how are you today?
I'm good.
Okay.
Tired.
I bet. Yeah, well, I really appreciate you coming out today. That's really nice of you. I'm going to be jotting a few things down if that's okay. It's just kind of to keep track of the session and so when we move forward and whatnot. And also, whatever we say is confidential, so feel free. We can talk about anything here. So you said you were feeling a little tired. How has your day been going?
Pretty good. I didn't do anything.
Okay. What brought you in today?
Well, I went to my general practitioner about 3 weeks ago, and they did their blood tests and blood pressure and vitals and all that. And basically he said that I had high blood pressure. I think he called it hypertension. But, so then he just suggested that I come see you, so now I'm here.
Okay. So you went to your PCP and they diagnosed you with high blood pressure. How has that made you feel since you've gotten that?
I mean, he didn't really tell me, what exactly I could do to help it.
Okay.
He didn't even put me on medicine. He wanted to wait and see if, me coming to you could help first.
Okay.
It hasn't really impacted me that much. I'm just living.
Okay. Well, that's good. And, that's a good idea that your doctor sent you here because food can help control a lot of that. So this is a great first step to take instead of turning straight to medicine. So that's good. First, to kind of start it off, I figured we kind of go through a typical diet recall for you, if that's okay. And then we can talk about some different, topics that you want to go into, maybe talking more about hypertension, or it could be food choices, anything that you feel comfortable with. And then maybe some goals to kind of start making these changes to help your blood pressure, if you feel up to it.
Uh-huh.
So, what does a typical day look like for you, starting with, say, breakfast?
Well, sometimes I eat breakfast, sometimes I don't eat breakfast. If I eat breakfast at home, I'll probably have cereal and milk, but, skim milk, I'm not really big into the 1% or the 2%, or the whole milk, for that matter. In my cereal, I usually have, Chex or, Cheerios. I'm not into the sugary kid cereals.
Okay.
But if I don't have it at home, then I'll probably just have, a coffee, on the way to work.
Gotcha.
For snack, I usually will have some... Well, sometimes I don't. I usually don't have a snack unless I did eat breakfast. But I don't really know. That just varies. Pretty small snack, either some chips or some nuts or some cheese, something like that.
Okay.
Snack foods. Popcorn. For lunch, depending again on if I had breakfast or not, most of the time I either pack lunch from home, so whatever is in the fridge, which is usually a carb and some vegetables and a meat, or I'll just get lunch out, usually at Farm Burger. I get the burger, and I just get the kids burger because it comes with fries and it's cheaper.
Okay.
And I get chocolate milk. I like chocolate milk. And then we go to class, and then I usually have dinner. Just normal stuff. Usually a carb source or some meat and probably some cheese. Not really that big on vegetables. I eat them, but not if I have to make them.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't like the item.
Okay. Okay, so kind of running back through that. You said let's see. So you don't typically snack unless you skipped breakfast. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wanting to make sure I got that right. And then you were saying the carb and the meat and the cheese, are there certain types of carbs you like to go for? Are you more of a grain or a potato?
I do enjoy, French fries, but I only probably have them, maybe once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
I do like sushi. So sometimes I'll get, I would say if I had to pick, my biggest grain is probably either coming from, bread or coming from rice.
Okay. And do you like to use whole grains or white breads, white rices?
I only whole grain.
Okay.
My mom always only bought whole grain, so that's all I eat.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, all right. And typical times you like to eat. So you said for dinner it's usually after class. When does that usually occur?
Probably around 7 or 8. But then sometimes I just don't eat dinner after class anyway.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know.
Gotcha. And is lunch, when does that usually occur for you?
Between 11 and 1.
All right. Well, so looking at all of this and your diet and kind of what you know about hypertension, are there any, I guess we start by, what is your understanding of hypertension?
Just high blood pressure.
Okay, and do you know of any ways that diet affects it or anything?
No.
All right, well, is that something you want to learn more about?
I think it could be beneficial.
Okay. Well, a lot of times with hypertension or high blood pressure, we'll usually go to a low-salt diet. And so a lot of times what that means, the reason we do that is because salt tends to hold on to water. And with more volume, it puts more pressure on our veins and our arteries and whatnot. So that's kind of the reasoning behind the low salt.
What's the difference between a vein and an artery?
So vein carries blood away to the heart, and the artery carries the oxygenated blood away to the rest of your body. So
okay.
Artery takes all the good blood to you, and then the vein carries all the blood back to your heart.
So they need to be working.
Yes. So if we can, if you cut back on your salt intake, you're able to decrease the amount of water you retain, and it's easier for your blood to travel through. Yeah. So, what's something that you're wanting to talk today about?
Well, you say I need to reduce my salt, so maybe we can just talk about, I don't really ever add salt to my food, and I know that there's, salt in other places, but maybe just talking about places where, salt is hidden.
Okay.
That I need to, be aware of, that I might not know.
All right. Well, that's a good thing you brought up. Salt can hide some places. Where are some places that, when you think about what you normally, where are some places that you think you may find salt?
And my soy sauce with sushi.
Okay, yeah.
But all of the Asian restaurants, they have the low sodium one. I noticed it's in a green top versus the normal one that I think is in a red top. Fast food, French fries, just what people are seasoning. Well, I guess honestly, it's probably in a lot of stuff that processed stuff, packaged things. Which I do enjoy packaged snacks like Cheez-Its. Yeah.
Okay.
So just things I get from other places.
Yeah, okay. So things that come from outside the home. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you seem like you do have a really good understanding of where salt can be hiding. And that is tricky, especially when you're talking about hypertension. It's good to know where things are found, so when you do eat outside of the home, you can be a little more aware of what you're ordering. So that's good. So what are some barriers you think, so when you do go out to eat, that tends to be the issue with where things can hide. What are some barriers you'd find that would maybe prevent you from eating a lower salt diet outside the home?
I don't know. I usually find myself eating out because either I didn't buy food to cook, or, it's just easier. I get up, if I cook at home, I might not get, a full meal. Mm-hmm. But if I go out, I'm going to get, a protein source, carbs. Mm-hmm. So, maybe not about the vegetables unless I'm going out to eat a salad or something. But, I know that it's, it'll fill me up. Whereas if I make something at home, it might not. Yeah. So, I guess just maybe just limiting how often I get stuff out is maybe a good place to start.
Okay. Well, and you said that one of your barriers was you didn't always find time to cook the food or all that that goes into it. And it can be a bit of a process at first, going through it. So what are some things we could talk about that would help, or we could come up with ideas together that would help you find cooking in the home a little bit easier. And we can even brainstorm some if you just want to, like, we can jot some stuff down together.
Well, I hear a lot of people meal prep. I tried it and it didn't work out, so
Okay.
I probably won't try it again.
Okay.
I'm really bad about putting stuff in, like... I'm also really bad about buying stuff and freezing it and using it later. Like, I kind of just forget that I froze it.
Okay, so maybe freezing isn't the best option in meal prep.
Yeah.
So we know maybe this one's not a good idea. So let's think of something that maybe, and I may just, if you don't mind offering the suggestion, maybe it could be we buy smaller portions. So instead of the meal prepping, we're only worried about that one meal at a time. If that makes sense. Would that work?
So are you suggesting I go to the grocery store every day?
No. It would still be helpful for you to sit down on like a Sunday or a Saturday and pick out, 3 meals that you could cook. Because a lot of times, meals you can get more than one time out of. So you can have leftovers. So like you could always say, okay, I'm going to cook 3 meals Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the leftovers on the other 2 days, and then maybe pick one day to go eat out. That could be how you could do it. Or you could take the leftovers for lunch as well. And so you would sit down, you kind of map those out, and you pick. And something that's helpful to keep costs down would be to use similar foods in your meals that you cook for that week. So maybe saying, I'm going to use similar seasonings. So you don't have to buy one of something, instead of having to buy a bunch of different fruits and vegetables. If you're using onions and potatoes and asparagus and, 2 of your meals, you only have to buy those. So would that be something you could do?
Yeah, that sounds like pretty doable.
Okay. Is there anything else you think would help?
I mean, just continuing not to add salt at home. Like, I don't really...
Do you find that it was a problem for you?
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty, I season with other things, so...
Well, that's
I don't really
good,
miss
yeah.
the salt that much.
Okay, well, that's good. That's already something you do already that's good for this diet and good for this lifestyle that you're kind of starting on. And so we really don't need to worry about that so much. So I think something that it sounds like you want to focus on is just finding more ways to eat, to cook, right? Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts on cooking inside the home more?
I mean, I guess I could do it.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how 1 being not ready at all and 10 being really excited to go cook in the kitchen right now, where do you think you fall on that?
Maybe a 7, 6.
Okay. And why'd you pick those numbers?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to, do that. It's hard with school and work. I don't even, going to the grocery store takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I hate going to the grocery store. Things go bad if I don't use them because I'll go buy food and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll cook this, and then it doesn't happen that way. So, I mean, of course, I want to make the change and I need to do something about it because, after all, like you said, arteries and veins and stuff, they're super important for, your life, but I don't know, I just need to get there in my head first. Okay,
well, I want to thank you for sharing all with me, kind of looking inside yourself and understanding that. That's really cool. That's really good. And it kind of gives me a better idea of where you are on this. So maybe, thinking about cooking 3 meals in the home, that seems like a lot right now. So what's something a little more manageable that you feel comfortable with doing? And it can even be the smallest thing.
I think I would be better off with limiting how often I'm eating out versus how often I'm eating in.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, to flip it around, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. But it's easier to say I'm not going to go out and spend money on food than to say I'm going to go out and spend more money to buy groceries.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So, thinking of that, something that's a little more manageable for you and you feel comfortable with that, what is, one thing, you can do off the top of your head to say, besides, okay, just don't go out spend money, what's something you could do to prevent you from going out to eat, but still making sure you're eating?
I don't know, the route I take places Just don't pass any food.
Okay, so kind of just like removing that temptation.
Yeah.
That's
I already don't pass that many food places on the way I drive anyway, so yeah, just another hard aspect is that friends always want to eat out.
Mm-hmm. That is a really tough one, especially a lot of times that's the only time you can see people is when you're going out to eat. And I know a lot of my other clients have that similar issue because food is such a social thing for us as humans. And what I've always kind of told them and what a lot of them have found to work is if someone does suggest staying in that night and eating something at the house or saying, hey, why don't we just go do something else instead? You know, because a lot of times we're not eating because we're hungry, for the social aspect. Y'all could always go to a movie or go hang out somewhere else, that doesn't have to be food related,
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever feel like you don't want to eat out, but you want to see your friends, maybe suggesting something else.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those are good ideas.
All right. Well, so the goal of limiting how much you're eating out, that's something that, where do you rate that goal?
I mean, I think that's probably the most important one.
Okay. And that one feels a lot more attainable right now than versus the other one?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. So, if you're interested in setting up another appointment, I think taking this goal of limiting how much you're eating out is something you can start doing off the bat and something that it sounds like you're pretty ready to start doing, and that's great. And when we come back in, we can kind of go over how that's gone for you. What are some barriers that you found that you didn't think were going to happen, and maybe finding some new ways to tackle those. And then if you're ready to, we could even move forward on that. But of course, we wouldn't move to another goal until you've really felt comfortable that you've successfully managed that first one. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming out today, and I hope you had a good time with the meeting and you got a lot out of it. And if you need any help or anything, you have my number and you can call and we can talk about stuff at any time.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.